Good night. Thank you.
Welcome, ladies and gents, to episode 2 of the Sparkup show, where we'll be talking everything startup. I'm your host, Katakani Baloi, aka Ngwana Mosadi. So, in episode 1, we spoke about getting started and introduced the concept of an MVP. Today, we're going to explore that a little further. So, MVP stands for Minimum Viable Product.
Yes, but what does that mean, Stephen? What does it mean?
Well, in one sentence, an MVP is the most simplified version of your product or service that you can take to market. The idea is that you take your grand, audacious, pie-in-the-sky idea and you scale it down to the bare bones, the skeletons, if you will. You then take the scaled-down version of your idea and you take it to where you think your customer is. Try to sell it to them and see if they bite. Heck, you don't even need a product, just an idea. For example, legend has it that SnapScan, the South African mobile payment solution, was tested by its founders, who took a small piece of paper with a QR code and the words "mobile payments available here" printed on it, asked a coffee shop owner if they could put it at their till, and observed customers to see who reached for their phone when they saw the sign. Based on the number of people who did, they concluded that the idea was viable. To test Picklebird, where I crowdsource artwork and produce it onto products, I have a vision of a huge product lineup, but I started with just 20 units of a single hoodie with one design and one color. Once I sold most of that, I did 60 units of another, still one design, but 3 colors at that time. I'll repeat this process, next time with 3 designs, each in 3 colors, and so forth. But before we get to that, let's have a look at some videos that will help us to better understand how to set up our MVP.
One of the important things I would say for upcoming entrepreneurs is really sit down and understand your idea. What does it mean to have a good idea is answering, I think, 3 or 4 basic questions. One, what are you selling? Alright, what is it that you're selling? Understand it fully inside out and be able to, like when someone wakes up in your sleep, you know exactly what it is you're selling. 2, who are you selling it to? Once you understand your end user, it's easy to understand exactly what it is you're selling. And 3, is it really a viable business? Right? And when they say, like, a lot of people take it very like, I know I was one of those people when you say, speak to somebody you've never spoken to before, pitch your idea to that person. Like, you really need to be comfortable with your idea yourself to speak to them and really see whether that person will or will not buy your idea. You know, and if they will buy your idea, what is it about it that they will buy?
Yeah. I think I would say it helps to be close to 1 or 2 people that are actually in the industry that you're trying to impact. If you are far removed from the community you're trying to serve, it makes it very difficult for you to find out, because then you'll end up going with stereotypes instead of actually solving the real problem. Secondly, I would say don't go in with any preconceived notions or preconceived ideas. Literally ask people what it is that they are struggling with, what is the problem, get to the heart of it, why do they feel underserved, what would they love to see, and then, you know, match up your skills and expertise with whatever need there is. Number 3, I would say don't take this too lightly. Like, this is an integral step in actually starting a business. You can't go in, you know, imagining that, you know, just because you like it, it's great. If you like it, it's great, but you're not going to be your customer. You're not the one who's going to be bringing coins your direction. You need to go to at least 1, 2, 3, 4 extra people that don't know you, that don't like you, like you, and then you know you're onto something. Tip number 4, listen most to the people that give you negative feedback. Good feedback is nice, and you get it 90% of the time, but that 10% of the negative feedback is what actually builds your brand and what makes it better. Constructive negative feedback is what will help you make and refine your product or your service to the point where you'll be able to satisfy your niche the most.
You know, I think it's a gut thing. You kind of feel, you know, if you have an affinity for a product, or if it makes you laugh, or if it kind of makes sense, you know, if it gives you a good vibe, you kind of go with it. Yeah. I normally give products about 6 weeks to see if they're gonna, you know, work. If after 6 weeks, if it ain't kind of going, I just put it on a massive special. So I like reduce the price. So if something doesn't work, then we try different versions. So you can maybe add more to it, or yeah, or do something with it, yeah. So these, for a while, they weren't selling for whatever reason. And then we added this, you see this lining here on the outside, but it's basically just like that. And then this little edge there, that's made all the difference in the world. So now it sounds just a weird thing, but yeah, I think it's a little bit of African thing, and it makes it a bit distinct, I think we can see. So yeah, yeah, especially if you know the product is good, but it's not going, it's normally just requires something different, you know. Well, that's my experience.
Wow, top advice indeed. The importance of research can never be overstated. The more you know, the better your starting position. That said, don't get caught in the trap of wanting to know everything before you start. You learn on the job. You start, you fail, you learn, you fix, and you start again. Repeat until you have a winning formula. Heck, sometimes you may need to walk away, but that's all part of the learning process. Learning what to fix and what to do is just as important as learning what not to do. And last but not least, guys, execute. If you have the urge to tell one more person about this brilliant idea you have, don't. Rather turn around and go do something towards achieving that idea. Because ideas are worthless. It's in the execution of ideas that the true value lies. So that's it for this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in next week. We will be talking about setting up your value chain once you've understood your product. 7 a.m. every Monday. Why? Because winners love Mondays. Let me know what you thought of this episode and any feedback you have so we can keep getting better. If there are any concepts or words in here that you didn't quite understand, hit me up on social media. Twitter and Instagram are at Sparkup Show or at Musadi for me, and Facebook is The Sparkup Show. Remember to follow the channel, use the button below, and keep the conversations going with the hashtag Sparkup, and of course, get involved. For what we are about to do, Africa was never ready. Let's spark up.
Brian, confess off. Brian put it off, yes. I did say when he leaves, he must put it off.